Want a man to be obsessed with you, and I mean really obsessed, checking his phone constantly, hoping you text, thinking about you when he's with other people, and actually deleting the other women from his phone. Now, I need to warn you, this isn't just going to improve your dating life. It's actually the key to more wealth, better health, and more fulfilling relationships across every aspect of your life. I am so passionate about this area because what I'm about to show you will completely flip how men see you, and it's called detachment. It's the opposite of everything we've been taught in school about getting somebody's attention. And the pattern, and I want to teach you about this pattern that keeps you stuck. And here's what happens to most loving, amazing women that I know. We make our emotional state dependent on somebody else's actions. Did he text back? Did he like my photo? Is he seeing other people? And I used to live this way too, with other people, obviously, and refreshing my phone constantly every 5 minutes, analyzing conversations, trying to decode what they were thinking. And you know what? I was exhausted, and it never gave me the love and satisfaction that I was looking for. But here's what I discovered, and I know this will help you too, is when your happiness depends on his actions, you become predictable. And while predictable feels safe, it doesn't create that kind of a magnetic attraction that makes people obsessed with you. But when you genuinely don't need somebody's validation to feel good about yourself, that's when you become absolutely irresistible. And it's not denial, and we'll get right into this. So let's talk a little bit about what detachment actually means, because detachment doesn't mean being cold or playing games. It means your inner peace doesn't change based off, if somebody texts you, I used to hear this. It's if you get a job, they say there's something you really want, like a job. If you get it, good. If you don't get it, good. Something is always going to come out positive. So think about someone that just naturally is magnetic. Maybe you know somebody like this, maybe you don't, or maybe you've just seen them in the movies, but they're not constantly checking their phone. They're not overreacting to every interaction. They're living their life super fully, and somehow everyone wants to be around them. They kind of they come into a room and you kind of feel their presence. Just like when somebody's really melancholy, you're just like, ooh, get me away from this person. No offense. And that's detachment in action, and it's learnable. And let's talk about when we're deeply attached to outcomes, how this actually impacts our lives. Will he call? Will he commit? Does he like me? Is he cheating on me? And we unconsciously put pressure on somebody else to manage our emotions. And that's a heavy burden for anyone to carry. And if you've seen some of my other videos where I talk about excess importance, it's like, let's imagine you want to do a speech in front of a big crowd and you're getting very nervous. It's not because the act of speaking is scary. It's largely because we're worried about the ramifications of like people making fun of us in that crowd because we feel like we're going to freeze up. We have spoken our entire lives. We speak to our friends quite normally, but it's when we get on that stage and we're putting excess importance, we're thinking, if this goes wrong, it'll be bad for my career. It'll be bad for my love life. All right, and we just need to calm down. We need to regulate our emotions. Breathe. Everything's going to be okay. So let's talk about and imagine two people at a pool. One is drowning and desperately grabbing onto anyone nearby. The other is floating peacefully, enjoying the water. It's the exact same water. And maybe you've seen that meme before where it's literally the exact same person, like water. It's just the people and how they experience it, right? And when you're detached, you become that more peaceful person that, is just seeing and enjoying the water versus the person that like feels like they're going to drown, even though the water's not that deep. They are freaking the F out. So let's talk about the beautiful paradox of detachment, because it's absolutely true, is the less you need somebody, the more they fundamentally want you. If you've heard about this in business, it's if you need the deal, like if you can't walk away from the deal, you're going to lose the deal. It's the person that can walk away will always have more power in that situation. So think about the people you're most drawn to. Are they the neediest, clingiest people? They're usually the people with their own lives, their own passions, their own happiness. And you want to be part of that world because it looks so rich, it looks so fulfilling. And when you're attached, seeking validation, you're constantly saying, my life isn't complete without you. When you're detached, you're saying, my life is beautiful. You're welcome to add it. I always talk about this. A guy is like a good seasoning to your life. He isn't the entire dish, right? Like build the life we want. Be full of ourselves. Remember, it's always better to be alone than it is to be with a bad company, right? Better to be by ourselves than be with somebody that is ruining our peace. So again, which invitation feels more appealing? The person that has a completely full life that is always doing dope things, or the person that's like, if you don't hang out with me, I'm going to be so like distraught and sad, right? We want to be obviously that first person that has their own magnetic life. So now let's get into staying true to ourselves, because you're like, I care a lot. I'm a lover person. I want to be in this person's life. So I want you to remember who you are. But so, like, let's say he mentions, a certain type of girl, like, oh, he likes a certain kind of body type, or he likes a certain kind of hair color. He says he loves adventure. So we don't want to pretend to be somebody you are not just to fit into somebody's life. That's somebody that's not magnetic, somebody that doesn't have their own life, doesn't have their own self-love. It's fine to try new things. If you never tried sushi and he's really into sushi or nigiri or whatever, go try that. Fair enough. But do not fundamentally pretend to be someone you're not, because somebody that is magnetic has their own lives, has their own interests, and they do not apologize for those interests. So if he says he loves chocolate cake, don't rush to become chocolate cake. I mean, you are an incredible cake. You're the best flavor. If you're red velvet, that's fine. That's fine. So the right person is going to absolutely love you, and trying to be somebody else just to fit somebody else's preferences. Hey, again, it's fine to try new things. I'm an adventurous guy. But you got to stay true to yourself. So here's what detachment actually feels like: is when you embrace detachment, anxiety around the relationship starts to fade. And you know why? Is because anxiety comes from us trying to control things that are actually outside of our control. All control-based behaviors are born out of fear. My mom used to tell me that all the time. And you can't control what he thinks about you. You can't control what other people say about you. Trying to control those things are really like trying to control the weather. And maybe if you get so deep into the esoteric stuff of our channel, maybe you'll think like one day we'll do some magic. But until I figure that out, we cannot control the weather. It's exhausting and it's dang near impossible as far as I know. So here are the complete choices that we have. We can detach, we can be loving ourselves, focusing on ourselves, and giving our precious time to people that deserve our time. So when we really master detachment, we get the gift of freedom to ourselves. You're not attached to the outcomes. You give other people the gift of freedom to be themselves. You're not trying to impose your will upon them, not trying to, baby them into becoming the man you want. The freedom of them being themselves and being fully themselves is incredibly attractive. So remember, you cannot control everybody in your life. You can only live a fully magnetic life. And that magnetic life starts when you start detaching from the outcomes. Not looking through their phone, because that's when we've already lost. Not trying to control their full behavior. Ultimately, if someone wants to do something bad, they will find a way to do it. And our best course of action is building a full life for ourselves, inviting people into that life, and removing them when they do not fit our life. I love you. Ciao.